Like many Doctor Who fans, I have a very love-hate relationship with the story arc. Doctor Who can use them just as much as it abuses them. They can be brilliant for serialized storytelling, creating stakes and tension, but they can also be deeply unsatisfying, making otherwise great episodes fall flat. It also can be tricky to discern what is and isn't an actual arc. Is the Doctor's blindness an arc? What about the Dalek Civil War stuff? Is that a traditional arc? And who is this arc anyway? Today I will answer exactly one of these questions as I detail the 5 greatest story arcs in Doctor Who. Allons-y. Number 1, Servue. When it comes to the Titan range, I sing their praises. The Servue arc in Volume 2 of the 11th Doctor Adventures was so good it actually inspired this video. Time and time again, Al Ewing and his comic team are constantly proving that they should be handling the TV show. The perfect blend of fantastical nonsense, high-concept sci-fi, self-aware meta-text, fan service, and thematic commentary. This arc pits the 11th Doctor, Alice, David Bowie, and Ark, best TARDIS team, against the mega corporation, Servue Inc. But a corporation isn't a Nimon, or a Wirrn, or a Dalek fleet. It's not something you can reason with or stop by reversing the polarity of the thingy-what's-it. A corporation is a very special kind of monster. Uh-oh, cynical commentary that is intelligent and on the nose? This story probably wouldn't fly 2017 onwards, with the idiotic hate-herd mentality happening in sci-fi right now. But this is absolutely how you do it. In a story where the Doctor has to sell out to save the day. But then again, this story would never make it to TV, as it has a lot of really interesting criticisms to say about intellectual properties and franchising. Released in 2015, check out this line. A female Doctor, yes! Nice gimmick. One for the future, eh? That's a good story. Plenty of potential there. Offshoots, t-shirts, toys, good, talent scout. Feed that one over to the Entity. Yeah, this is a real loaded, overt story that might even go over the head of some anti-SJW types. The types that are just on the cusp of understanding the show's superficiality, but failing to realise these are business decisions, not political ones. Servue is filled with so many compelling, powerful lines like that, as the Doctor plans an assault on their home planet, hitting them where they hurt, their wallets. In terms of storytelling, it's much like a good version of the Monk trilogy. 3 wildly different stories, all with different things to say, as if they were written by different writers, but this time actually coming together as a cohesive whole. And just like those stories, it might be a bit too fast-paced for its own good. It juggles lots of different ideas, and ultimately comes down to a really unsatisfying conclusion. But my god, the rest of the trip? Absolute recommend. Number 2, E-Space. The Doctor and Romana just fall into a different dimension, a different plane of existence. For no real reason at all, actually. Though often overlooked, these 3 stories are consistently high quality. This gives the Doctor and Romana one goal. How do we get home? A question that takes them from the liberation of furries, to actual gothic vampires, to the claws of Matthew Waterhouse. It's really fun stuff and never outstays its welcome. All 3 of these are bristling with atmosphere, and really distinct and imaginatively shot in a way that many other Doctor Who episodes just aren't. I'd happily elaborate on that, but I'm definitely bound to return to these 3 in the very near future, so zip. See, the classic series did sometimes have arcs, just not in a modern sense. They're very subliminal, call to adventures, if you will, with one tidy little scene to wrap it up at the end. This is an understated, brilliant little story arc. Throw yourself forward to 2009 and the Doctor's having an existential crisis. 4 knocks on the beach when the question is asked. Modern Doctor Who loves its story beats. They can be completely overbearing, and sometimes I love them even for that. I think it's a fair criticism to say that Russell T Davies' story arcs got a bit repetitive and formulaic. Back to back, Bad Wolf, Torchwood, Saxon, Bees. And then?
He will knock 4 times.
I'm gonna die. Yet, Doc, you're gonna die like every single week. There's always a prophecy on your head, dude. Chill out. Although seemingly by the numbers, these 5 words, send this Doctor into a spiral. A reckless streak that doesn't just stretch across the specials, but most of the Extended Universe 10th Doctor. First introduced in my personal favourite, Planet of the Dead, a story so forgettable I forgot to even put it in my worst list. But I do have to thank it for motivating some of my favourite episodes ever. And it's a last minute addition that kind of propels 10 into one of my favourite iterations of the character. Anyway, but for real, Planet of the Dead is a modern day classic. And it's a little bit humorous that the Doctor immediately believes the rambling prophecy of an OAP lady he met on the bus. Is that Daniel Kaluuya? When I call 4 Nox Narc, I think I mean everything post-Donna. Which is kinda cheating, because there's a lot. Waters of Mars and End of Time Part 2 are among some of my favourites. Mostly because of the range that David Tennant gets to show as his Doctor begins to crumble. 10 is a flawed Doctor, yes, but you're mistaken if you don't think that some of those flaws are intentional and very, very well played. Because now, the vanity of this character, which was only ever hinted at before, now takes centre stage. Every single story for this Doctor past this point is like a gap year. Years of debauchery for the 10th Doctor, of rule breaking, mistake making, party victory lap. And most of all, it's really good because not only does this give the 10th Doctor some last minute depth, but it also reveals a very human paranoia in an incarnation who was exceedingly human. I always liked the idea that 9, 10, and 11 were blissful, hopeless romantics because they were coming near the end of their life, of their natural lifespan. And they felt mortal, and they were human, including their mistakes. Now, of course, when it gets round to the 4 Nox, it just breaks my heart. That breaks my heart. Wilf, why did you have to be so good? I could have done so much more. So much more. Alright, 10, move over. The Land of Fiction. Next is a trilogy of stories delivered to us by Big Finish, the Doctor Who deities. 3 stories: City of Spires, The Wreck of the Titan, and Legend of the Cybermen. Now, I'm kind of in a tricky spot with this one. Even naming the arc is itself a spoiler. I would apologise if Big Finish hadn't put it all in the box art anyway. So trust me when I say that Jamie McCrimmon, the 6th Doctor, and Cybermen invading the Land of Fiction is worth your time. No more details from me, that's it. It's a sequel to a very specific classic Doctor Who story, but I'm not going to say which one. Notable highlights include a Doctor Who companion basically writing the Target novels, Cybermen converting mermaids, and Jamie McCrimmon breaking the 4th wall and appearing in the recording booth filming the story. Big Finish, you have just blown my dick off. And last of all, The Return of the Master. The box set New Beginnings was my favourite Doctor Who product as a kid. This trilogy of stories is just fantastic, which is strange because individually I wouldn't write home about Castrovalva, for instance. Logopolis is a very dry mathematical story that spends a whole episode walking around a TARDIS inside a TARDIS. Castrovalva is nothing but TARDIS hallways, and then the last half hour remembers to actually go outside and do the story. Keeper of Traken is basically perfect, but when all paired together, they make a brilliant trilogy of the Master's Return. Do you count Deadly Assassin? Nah. There are notable flaws, yes. Nyssa should definitely have more screen time with her body-snatched bone daddy. Christopher Bidmead scripts expect the viewer to have a vested interest in thermodynamics and entropy. And I think it's fair to say these aren't Baker's best performances, as at times, on screen, he is visibly done with the show. Not to mention this arc also contains a regeneration, something I always wonder why they don't do more of. I'm still waiting for a Doctor to regenerate halfway through a story, like The Stolen Earth, or Curse of Fatal Death, giving the 5th Doctor a really slow start, but it's also a great way to bridge the gap between Doctors and eras. He's easy to bully, but Bidmead is great. Ainley is so good that you don't even question the fact that the recasting is slightly distasteful. And the transitional period just all feels so natural. These are 3 brilliant stories that I would not get to talk about in my retrospectives otherwise. Later this week, we'll do the 5 worst. The Doctor will see you then.